Hey everyone, this is Sebi from Valorant Central. Welcome back to another video on the channel. Now today we're going to be looking over an advanced bomb guide for Valorant. Now I personally feel that one of the most looked past things in Valorant is important info about the spike. Knowing some key information about the spike can help you win a round and even possibly save your life from dodging the explosion. We will also look at some general info on the best places to plant the bomb. Now before we get into all of that, if you'd like to stay up to date on all things Valorant, be sure to subscribe to the channel. We post videos nearly every day covering everything you need to know about the game. Also drop this video a like if you do find it informative and helpful, as we really appreciate it. Now the first thing you have to know about the spike is what the different beep sounds mean. So the spike takes exactly 4 seconds to plant, and once planted there are 45 seconds before it detonates. First, you will hear one beep repeatedly, and this will last 25 seconds until there are 20 seconds remaining. Next, you will hear 2 beeps in a row repeatedly, and this will last for 10 seconds until there are 10 seconds left remaining. Then you will hear 4 beeps in a row repeatedly, and this will last for 5 seconds until there's 5 seconds remaining. And finally, you will hear uncontrollable beeping for the last 5 seconds before the spike explodes. So this is what the different kind of beeps will sound like.
Spike planted.
Now what is important about all this information is to know that there is exactly 7 seconds needed to defuse the spike. This means that the last chance you have to start defusing the bomb is 3 seconds after the 4 consecutive beeps start. Now on screen there is a clip of us doing this, and as you can see the spike is defused right before it explodes.
Thrifty.
So what we did is once we started hearing the 4 consecutive beeps in a row, we counted down 3 seconds and then we started defusing. And that goes to show you that any more time wasted, you will not be able to defuse the spike and it will explode. Now, why is this important to know? Well, if you're able to keep track of the beeps, you'll be able to know if you actually have enough time to defuse the spike. So let's go into an in-game example now. So let's see you hear the 4 consecutive beeps start. You now know there are 10 seconds left before the spike explodes. If there are 2 enemies alive, you know that you have 3 seconds exactly to get to the bomb and potentially kill both enemies before you have to start defusing the bomb with 7 seconds left. Seeing as this is pretty unrealistic, it is better for you to back off and save yourself from losing your weapons from death to the exploding spike. Now it will take some time for you to be able to learn the exploding pattern of the spike, especially if you're trying to focus on killing the enemies and defusing it all at the same time. So a good tip to start off is to get one of your dead teammates to help keep track of this. They can let you know how much time you have to defuse the spike, and also help you gauge if it's worth actually going to defuse or just backing off and saving for that round. The next tip we'll look into is the actual exploding radius of the bomb. So it is good to know how big the radius of the exploding spike is, so you'll know how far you have to get away from it to avoid death. So we did some tests in a custom game, and we noticed that the spike's exploding radius seems to be just larger than the area that your footsteps can be heard from. So when you walk around, you'll see a circle surrounding you on your minimap, and this is marking out the area of which you can be heard. So if you know where the spike is planted, then you can use this circle to help gauge how far you'll have to be safe from the exploding spike. So look at the map and stand somewhere where the edge of your circle is where the spike is planted. Now just back off a few more feet from this just to be safe, and you will not be killed by the exploding spike. So this is some useful information because it could potentially save you from death from the exploding spike, so you won't lose your guns that round. The last thing we're going to talk about is the best places to plant the bomb. The question we'll be covering is whether it is better to plant the bomb in the open or behind cover. So the pros to planting the spike behind cover is that even if there are enemies close by, they'll have a lot of trouble seeing you and even killing you while you're planting it. The cons to this, however, is that it will be easier for the enemies to defuse the bomb, as they will also be in cover when doing so. Now the opposite is true about planting the spike in the open. The pro is that it will be more difficult for the enemy to defuse the spike because they'll be in the open and you'll have more sight of it. But the con is that it will be much harder to plant as enemies near you can easily kill you. Now the best thing to do is to read your current situation and decide which of the two is better based on that. So for example, if your team calls out that all the enemies are on the other bomb site, then I'd recommend planting the bomb in the open, as you know you will not be killed and it will be harder for the enemies to defuse it. If you know there are enemies close by, however, your best bet is to plant the spike in cover so you can get the plant off before being killed. I hope you're able to use all this information to improve your play in Valorant, as knowing some more detailed information about the spike will definitely help you improve your game. Leave a comment down below if you have any further questions about this method or these tips. Also, remember to subscribe to the channel if you'd like to stay up to date on all things Valorant, and drop a like on this video if you did find it informative and helpful. That's about it for this video, and thanks for watching.